we tend not to see the web of causalities. We tend to see, this thing causes this thing, which is a very limited way to see causality.
So I think we should stop on connect the dots for a minute.
No, good. Yeah, that's a very popular saying.
It's a very popular saying about a lot of stuff that really matters.
Yeah.
Like the connection between, big stuff like polarization and, the health of our society, between lobbyists and the healthcare industry and mental health. I've heard it a lot in the last few weeks, I would say, on the news and in podcasts and things. People are like, well, we see all these things, but we're not connecting the dots.
Yeah.
Right.
It's huge.
It's like these sayings are all trying to remind us, hey, pay attention to how things are connected, because if we don't, we're not really seeing the reality of how they are.
Yeah. So, for example, the moves that we've talked about again on the podcast, and then our trainings are all about, the party move is literally connect the dots. That's what it does. That's why it's a powerful move. So you're literally sort of saying, how are the parts connected? How are they interconnected? And if we don't do that, then we won't understand systems. It's that simple. You just won't understand a system if you don't understand how it's connected and not connected.
Yeah.
And so party, and then the next move, the RDS barbell, which is zooming in, relationship zooming, essentially. Zooming in not just to the things, but zooming into the relationships.
Yeah.
And looking at the parts of the relationship. Those two moves together give you everything you need to know about the interconnectedness and the dynamics of a system.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to see the connections, see how the dots are connected, and then you've got to zoom into those relationships, those connections, and see what's inside of them, because what's inside of them that's where all the action is in a system, is in the relationships.
Yeah.
Not all the action, but a lot of the action.
Well, yeah, and the most recent example, or an example that most of us can relate to, is we're always thinking about the relationship between our nutrition, our exercise or our movement, and our sleep, right? So people say if you want to be healthy, if you want to lose weight or just,
longevity,
have more energy, that some people will say it's about what you eat. And some people will say, well, it's about whether or not you're moving every day or exercising. And some people will say, oh, just get more sleep. But the truth is those three things have such a connection to each other that if you're not paying attention to how they're related, you're not actually going to crack the problem or solve the problem.
Yeah, and I think we're doing this all the time. We're constantly isolating things and creating these either-or options. And it's inevitably in science, if you look at the history of science, every either-or option that we've argued, every false choice that we've been given, it turns out inevitably to be both and both. Is it nature or nurture? Well, it's both.
Right.
Is it behaviorism or cognitivism? Well, it's both. So it's is it positive or realistic kind of psychologies? Well, it's both. You need a little bit of realism in there, and there's tremendous benefit in being in positive psychology, right? So it's both, and we need to be able to take these different things and connect the dots.
Yeah.
And in my own kind of longevity and health journey that I've been on, I've really spent a long time trying to sift through all the morass and all that, because there's so much BS out there that you have to sift through. There's just tremendous misinformation, and I've been able to zero in on about 12 things. I call them the 12 gets.
That's right.
All interconnected. So it's not just those three things. Those are 3 of the 12.
Yeah.
But according to research and based on what I've been able to produce from the different people that are researching all these different areas, these 12 gets are really important.